Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. And what a show we have for you today. It's a very serious one, even though it seems a little goofy from the thumbnail. I'm your host, Jacob Israel. Welcome. Will you do me a favor and hit that like button so we all know that you're here? And let me know if you can hear me okay. A lot of stuff to get into. A lot of things that happened just over the last couple of days. A lot of serious stuff that happened over the last couple of days. And you're going to find that there is a thread, and that's a great word for this, thread, that connects it all together. Almost like if it was divinely shouted out from the rooftops that this is the day that we'd be entering into. There's some stuff that's going on out there in the old space with you probably remember a red giant dwarf star named Beetlejuice. We got Beetlejuice playing as well. We got a new moon that is going to be captured by our gravity. That's interesting. We have a lot of stuff to get into. And of course, you can't help but see, we have the president there hitting that golf club, and you know that something just went down with him. All of this stuff. And do you know that tomorrow there will be a harvest moon? Harvest, it's a huge deal, the harvest, because that is when all of the fruit is brought in. This would be the later harvest that we're talking about. And it's going on right now. It's going on right now. But there is a harvest moon, which is a supermoon. It's the second one of this year, and I believe it's the last. For whatever reason, I feel like this is significant. The number 2 especially. Before we get into all the stuff that went down at the golf course, before we get into all of that, we have to start out there. Whether or not it exists, who knows? We could all be in a simulation, right? 2024 harvest moon. It is the second supermoon, and it is the last lunar eclipse of the year. And you know all about those eclipses. Very symbolic. The moon being symbolic because it is a picture of your soul. Did you know that? Did you know that the sun is a picture of Christ and the Spirit of God, and that the moon, which is a reflection of that sun, it's illuminated by the sun. It's a picture of our soul, the sun and the moon. This is referenced in Joseph's dream, where he had his dream and all the planets, all the wheat, the gathered of wheat, his brothers, they all bowed down to him and they had a problem with it. But we understand that the moon is symbolic of the soul. So the fact that it's being eclipsed, the same time that a harvest is going on, the same time, by the way, that Saturn is in occultation. That means it's going to be really close to all this stuff. You're going to be able to see it. Saturn. We know this planet is connected to Satan, which means the adversary. But what is a lunar eclipse and why is it going on right now? Well, this particular event is going to be starting, and it'll be the best time to see it. If you want to see the supermoon eclipse, Grace Girl, thank you for the super chat. If you want to see the supermoon eclipse, best time to do it is when the moon first comes out. The harvest moon's officially at its fullest at 10:35 p.m., according to NASA, which some people say in Hebrew means to deceive. But other people say that it's around the same time. The harvest moon will appear full for about 3 days, from Monday evening until Thursday morning. Best time to catch it, of course, is right around moonrise. Now, here's the weird thing. The moon will finish the full shadow at 11:16 p.m. I look at that number, I see 9/11 upside down. It's weird. Why is this strange? Well, we just had the VMAs, okay? And they celebrated, they did their huge Moon Man ritual. If you haven't seen my last couple of shows, I did like three live shows in a row, for which I paid the price. I overdid it a little bit much. I talked about the VMAs, in particular, the fact that it was connected to this Polaris Dawn mission, which Elon Musk and crew, the billionaire that went up there, that we talked about. If you haven't seen it, go and watch my last show on this. But that it was almost like a ritual performance. And highlighted in the VMAs was not just the Moon Man, but aliens. A lot of aliens. A lot of aliens, a lot of UFOs. All of this stuff is making news today. It's strange. It is strange. Before we even get into that, because I got to tell you something. What if a lot of these heavenly bodies that we're hearing about, what if they're not asteroids? Go with me, because what do we do here? We speculate. We have a little bit of fun. And Earth's about to get a new moon at a magnitude brightness of 22. 22, you're going to find, is connected to what just went down with the president and the golf course. The first time that this happened was 2 months, 2 days earlier. This was the second attempt, and it happened at 2 o'clock. 22 is the Tav. It's that number. It's the last letter, and it's the Tav is the God marks us. He protects us during this end time that we are entering into. There's two sets of people in the judgment. There's the wheat and the tares, the sheep and the goats. I think that this is going on now. I think it's going on now. And since there's so much hubbub about, or hubbubaloo, I don't know which word you want to use, but since there is so much of this connected to, aliens, which, by the way, some people say are demons or fallen angels. Some people think it's just ancient AI or ancient humans that are time travelers. All it is, by the end of the show, it's going to be connected, and you may start to think these things. Yeah. Spend an hour with Jacob, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to start seeing the world in a different way completely. And welcome, all of you are here already. Got a lot of you here. I need more of you to get involved and hit the like, share it around, and encourage people to watch it, because people are going to be they're going to be played. They're going to be deceived. And there's a lot of deception going on right now, okay? In the world, in the lust of it, and the lust of the eyes, and the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, all that is in the world is what Christ is going to rise from, right? Christ was crucified at the foundation of the world. And then Christ, the way the truly live your life, the way the truth and the life was put to death because of the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And the world that we live in, the God of this world is not a God of truth. The God of this world is a liar. Some people believe that Saturn, the planet Saturn, is a picture of Satan, who would be the God of this world. Some people draw comparisons to Satan and call him a dragon. The reason why this is interesting, of course, today is that we just had this huge Polaris Dawn mission. Polaris, which is the North Star. Of course, I see all this in a positive light, but there's also a very negative light. And you're going to see that there's... What set of individuals are we going to, be? Which way are we going to see it? By the end of the show, you're going to have to find out, because there's so much happening. But yes, there is this asteroid known as 2024 PT5, I believe, and it was discovered on August 7th. So this is relatively new by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Alert System, ATLAS. If you remember correctly, NEOWISE was shut down just recently. I did a video about NEOWISE shutting down, and I found it to be pretty suspect, because it really is the one huge detector that we have that really tells us where these, extraterrestrial bodies are coming from. Why was it shut down? Okay? I mean, some people are going to say, oh, well, it's going to go back up there, and it's probably a reason. But Atlas detected this on August 7th. And the space rock is, guess what? 33 feet across. Isn't that interesting? Some numbers, huh? 22 brightness, the magnitude 22, according to Earth sky, and it's 33 feet. So you don't got to worry, is what they're saying, is you don't have to worry about it like coming in and smashing into the, the Earth and us having, because it's not that big. It'll probably break up. But for whatever reason, they're reporting on this small little asteroid, and they're making a big to-do over it, because it's going to be caught in the gravity of, we'll say our planet. So it's going to come and it's going to swing around. It's going to be like a little mini moon, which, by the way, we already have, if you didn't know that. But the big news is Earth's got a new moon, a new companion. There's another bit of news that I want to share about a companion, someone who's tagging along, or someone who's about to be revealed that you're going to find. This is a great time to be alive. Now, my question is, what if all of these things that they're seeing, they don't even know? Do you remember a while back we had an interstellar traveler known as Oumuamua, which in Hawaiian means first scout, arriving first or something, scout from afar? And I said, that sounds like an alien craft, the first scout coming, Oumuamua. Then we had another one, right? All of these interstellar travel, which makes no sense, because when you look at how these things travel, lightweight, some people said that it looked like it had a sail. You have Avi Loeb, that Harvard professor, that's saying 100% a craft, or 100% some kind of a, craft that's coming in to scout things out. We've seen some weird stuff go down in the world, and there's a lot of talk about aliens right now. And everywhere you look, it's a thing. So much so that I'm having dreams about aliens. I have them a lot. I just had one recently. I posted this on X. If you're not following me on X, you probably should. It's at Jacob Israel 71 on X. I appreciate if you do, you follow there. But I had this dream, and I was scared in the dream while this alien invasion happened. And I looked outside, and I saw there were the sky was filled with like these alien craft. But I look at them, and I'm like, they look like helium balloons. They looked like helium balloons. And in my mind, I thought they looked like helium balloons. And then like something was released in the air, and all of a sudden I realized, oh my goodness, I'm going blind. And it was like my sight was being crowded and I couldn't see. And I was completely blind. And in the dream, I thought of that, what's that movie with Sandra Bullock? You could probably tell me in a live chat, by the way. Oh, hit the like. A lot of people here. Not a lot of people hitting the like. You got to exit out of chat. You got to exit out of chat, and you got to smash that like so more people are involved, and then leave a comment, and then share it around and encourage people and tell people, hey, you got to check out Jacob's channel. He's a cool dude. He's very exciting, and he's also very encouraging. Where everybody else is going to get you all fired up and make you want to hate people and make you want to attack people. But in the dream, I thought of that movie, which had to do with like you couldn't look at the demons. If you saw the demons, you'd be possessed by the demons. Then you end up, taking your own life. Scary. But then I got my eyesight back. So in the dream, it was almost like it could have been a lie, because that's if you don't know what a demon really is. And I'm not saying that there aren't like some sinister, beings that are demons. They could be AI. We talked about the, Unicode and the emojis on the show before last. Once again, go to my YouTube page, click on live videos, and you can just watch that, or watch my video on that, which that video you're going to see sort of predicted what just happened at the golf course too, because I pointed out some stuff. It was like from 4 days ago. Who's to say that, these demons, which in scripture are very, very easy to understand what they are. They're lies from the father of all lies. Satan is the father of all lies. Watcher, you know this. Watcher gives me the thumbs up. Definitely thumbs up. Says I'm the best. Watcher, you're the best for telling me. Thank you in the super chat. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Lies. Satan, the father of all lies. Father of all lies means that if you give birth to something, you're giving birth to a lie. So if it's a messenger of Satan, it would be a lie. I don't want to minimize it, okay? Because a lie is a lying spirit. A spirit, according to Jesus, is thought. My words are spirit and they are truth. This is why you can go up to a person who's possessed by lies. And if you share the truth, you can cast that demon away. For those people that think they're never going to get ahead, you're not going to be stuck. That's a lie. The truth is, you can do all things with Christ who strengthens you. The truth casts out the lie. Those that are hooked, I can never stop doing the drugs. That's not true. You can and you will. I said it right here first. Prove me wrong. The truth casts out the lie. That's why we must speak life. Our tongue is like a sword. It's a double-edged sword. Take words, you take the S off the end, you put it in the beginning. You got a sword. And they can give life or they can take life. You can give blessings out of your mouth or curses out of your mouth. Sadly, we've all been conditioned and programmed to curse ourselves. I do it all the time. I come on here and I unknowingly listen to those lies and I unknowingly say things like, not enough people are seeing, blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes a reality because I say it. So we need to speak life and we need to speak blessings over ourselves. But demons are lies. How do I know this? Because the internet is filled with them. Fake news is actually a thing. And what runs all of the stuff that you're reading online? What's behind it? There's an algorithm. There's AI behind it. Some people think that the AI is the aliens. You got to tell me in the comments section if you think that this is a thing. But they do appear to be human many times. You know how many times you interact, probably even argue with people that aren't verified on social media or something? And it's not even a real person? Allie in Wonderland, you know what I'm talking about. Allie knows. You're interacting with bots. I get people that call me names and attack me and tear me down and stuff online and threaten me. And I look at them and I go, you're probably not even real. Why am I going to even get involved with a discussion if you're not real? What is real? What is true? That's the problem. You don't know what the truth is. Today, nobody knows what the truth is. You're told what to think. And then to think outside of the box, well, then you're criticized for it. And then you're looked like you're like a weirdo if you think outside of the box and you start saying things differently. Lies. Demons are lies. Aliens, lies. Possibly. But that's all I see. Which is why when I had that dream of them releasing something, I put this out, and this was on September 14th. And then what was it? A day later, and it's UFO time. Big truth is out there. Congress to get a big update on UFOs from the Pentagon. 1 day later. Hey, take a wild guess. Who is wearing an alien craft on their outfit? That's right, that's Taylor Swift. Why is she wearing UFOs? Well, another round of public UFO hearings are in store for Congress mere weeks, according to senior member of the Senate's Armed Forces Committee. The Senate hearing, which could meet as early as next week or the week after, follows a bizarre summer of U.S. airborne mysteries, according to ex-Pentagon official, or PSYOP, Luis Alessandro. His revelations that he actually removed an alien implant from somebody. And that the largest alien craft that we have them, and that they're right around all of the facilities, the nuclear facilities. Because that's another thing that you're being fed. Another thing to keep you scared and keep you up all night. As if the rising prices and all the other stuff, you have what? You got to worry about your pets. You got to worry about nuclear war. You got to worry about the asteroids. You got to worry about people being shot at for speaking up for freedom. What's going on? What do we believe? What do we know to be true? Well, I know that at the VMAs, you'll see that little girl Sabrina right there kissing the alien. That was a female alien. Britney Spears had a problem with it. She says, "Why didn't you just kiss a girl?" She didn't understand it, but it was a female alien. I had to point that out because she was wearing like a halter top. These are the things that are forced down, our throats today. These are the things that I have to point out because it is a deception. It is an alien deception. And what is alien to truth? It's a lie. Now, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as extraterrestrials. There may be. I'm not saying, that that's not a thing. I just think that I have a problem believing anything that comes across my feed lately. Because what does it do? It creates outrage. And who do you believe? We see what this stuff has done to people. It's made them nuts, right? It's made them nuts. They think that they're doing good by doing evil. Or maybe they're not really doing anything at all. Maybe this is all a big show. This is what scares me. But the fact that space is like such a big deal, right? The fact that UFOs are such a big deal. The fact that the Polaris Dawn mission, which I talked about, okay? Which was connected to another show that I did earlier on it. You have to watch my last show on this. I can't recap it all. I know I'm sure that some people missed it. If you're here right now, I'm hoping you didn't. But I do know that over the weekend, we had somebody playing the violin in, I don't know, is it lower Earth orbit or space? Who knows? Or a studio, right? Who knows? Who knows? But I found it interesting because she was playing the violin and I was quickened. And what does that word quicken mean? Anybody know? Let me know in the super. It just means it was brought to my attention. I was inspired. I remembered that I did a show about Elon posting about choosing violins. Because he had actually made a little joke about The Walking Dead where there was a sax and the other guy was holding the violin and somebody made a joke about it, warning this image contains a sax and violins. He likes sax and violins, and he laughed. And then he put out this post at, notice the time, the date, I should say, not the time, 10/22/2023, wake up and choose violins. How many violins do you see there? How many violins? I see 2. Well, do you know that this amazing, Polaris Dawn mission, which was really extraordinary, which the mainstream media basically didn't even cover. But who watches mainstream media anymore but people who don't know how to use, their phones, it seems. People that still have cable. I still have cable. Isn't that sad? I have cable and I have all of the apps that I pay for, probably paying for a lot more. And I pay for these apps and then the commercials. Oh, this show is brought to you commercial free by so-and-so. And then you got to watch a commercial. It's ridiculous. And you pay what, $20 a month or something? But violin, that's Sarah Gillis. I talked about Sarah on the show. A remarkable young lady. And they did this performance where she played the violin in concert with a bunch of other, orchestras around the world, kind of like to bring peace and to bring awareness and harmony. And it was like a beautiful thing. And I thought, wake up and choose violins. I said, well, that's a positive take. You're going to find that it could be or maybe not, depending on how you look at it. But do you know that he posted this at 10/22 on 10/22/2023? And do you know that it was exactly 10 months and 22 days until I woke up and chose to watch her playing the violin? 10/22. 10/22. Isn't that interesting? I find it interesting. You see the picture right there of the Trumpster? My next piece is called Nothing Can Stop What's Coming. And he's like, I don't know what this means, but it sounds good to me. He knew what it meant. Playing the violin is always symbolic of something. You think of Nero. I did a whole show about Nero when his palace was uncovered, right? It was strange that all of these major events tied to historic significance were being revealed at such a time. And so wake up and choose violins and the Polaris Dawn mission. It returns to Earth. And do you want to know something? Because here's the weird thing, right? Trump, if he becomes president, which I always said he was coming back, he was going to be in charge, he was going to be the man. I always said this. I said this before the first election, where the day of, I'm like, I don't think he's going to win. And I told everybody, don't get too crazy about this. He did all right for himself. He had $3 billion when he lost the election. And now he's at $8 billion. He has a lot more money. And he's a lot bigger and more powerful. And he hates Taylor Swift. That was the big post of the day. You know, all the stuff connected to Taylor. And if you saw my last show on Taylor and the cat comms that we called exactly 6 months. I say we, I mean me. All of us talked about it. And now everything's out of control about the cats, the dogs, and the ducks. It's out of control. What do you believe? Are you getting hung up in this nonsense? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of saying, I'm looking at something and I say, there's something weird about this. There's a connection to this. And I talked about it on my show 4 days before the event happened. I saw that Time magazine cover. And I think I was the only one that saw it ahead of time that I'm aware of. I'm sure other people saw it but didn't make a connection. And I said, breaking. Trump Time cover means something more than you think. God is always telling us ahead of time. God is always telling us ahead of time. And then later what I did on September 11th, which was my daughter Shiloh's birthday, right? She turned 21. I said, watch as sand becomes news. This is a test. And my goodness, if that Time magazine cover is not news today. The second attempt, 2 months, 2 days after the first. Quinky dinky doo, 222 fines. I said it was coming. I said sand was going to be a thing. And now here we are. Let me pull this up for you. Okay, so I want to play this for you. Hopefully it's not going to blow your ears out. This was just from September 11th. This was just a couple of days ago. And here we are once again. All right, take a listen. It's coming. The problem is that we have to endure some things like this. Let me show you this. This is Time magazine. That's their cover today. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is some quicksand. It looks like he's in a trap. A sand trap. And what does sand represent again? What does it represent again? It represents, a faulty foundation. Anything that's not built on Christ, anything that's not built on truth, sand. Now, what's interesting is Eddie said, I'll play along. How about the Middle East for one? Interesting. The Middle East. And here I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and Oman. And I'm thinking there's something to do with the sand and the sand traps that maybe we'll see in the future. Something about this that just seems not so great. Lies. Sand. Lies. How wild is that? Strange. Now everybody's talking about that Time magazine cover. Everybody. Did they know? Were they ahead of it? When I see sand, I think of the sands of time too, that Ouroboros. I feel like we're running out of time. Every day that I come online and I start looking at these things that play out, I think to myself, Lord, why don't more people pay attention to this stuff? Why is everybody following after all of these people that are just vapid. They're bankrupt of morality, and they're just trying to get clicks, and they're just trying to get people agitated. How many people are actually trying to do things to make this world a better place? I saw Alex, that's right, Mr. Jones today, saying, we need to stop World War III for our children. And I'm like, well, maybe you stop shouting about it. Maybe you stop speaking it. As if we're supposed to believe you. He's got no problem reaching people. The amount of hate, the amount of nonsense that I see these heroes drives me up a wall. I say it's sus for a reason. Do you know that when Elon posted wake up and choose violins? By the way, you look at the time, 11:38, that's 11:11, was exactly 47 weeks. 47 weeks from that second attempt. 47! That's the next president. That's some coinky-dinky do. 47. And how many violins you got there? 2. And we're talking about this. We're talking about the companion, right? We got the little moon coming around. We got all this stuff happening. Makes me feel pretty darn good about my faith, because I feel like God's been giving me the heads up for a while now. I'm changed, by the way. This accident changed me. I am struggling to get through the day. Struggling. I can't be alone and quiet because it's so loud. Right now, it's so loud in my ear, you got no clue. But I'm changed because of it. When Jacob, when he was done wrestling that angel, when he's done wrestling, whether it's with God or with a man, the scriptures say with a man, but it's an allegory of us. We're fighting something. And what are we always fighting? We're really always fighting the Lord. He had to smack me upside my head. No more Pinot. No more this, no more that. I got to calm down. I got to get more focused. It's game time, people. And if you're living your life and you're just trying to just ignore the severity of what's happening in the world today, you're not going to make it. If you're not getting your heart right, and you're not getting your family right, and you're not pulling it together, when the storm comes, you're not going to stand, because your house will be built on sand. And who's the guy that right now is going in reverse on sand? It ain't me. Now, remember I talked about the sand, and I talked about how it gives you an opportunity when you end up in the ditch. Another word for the sand is bunker. If you're in golf, it's called a bunker, like a bunk bed. Sand, you think of dreams, right? You think of like we're in a dream. It's time to wake up, the scriptures say time and time again. Thank you, Catherine, for the super chat. I appreciate it. It's time to wake up. Sandman 2 on Netflix is coming out. Sand. Everywhere you look, sand. Strange. But you know what's stranger? Laura Loomer. Do you know who that is? Who knows who Laura Loomer is? Does anybody? I talked about her a while back. Well, she is this young lady, bottom right-hand corner. She is, connected to some pretty horrible people. Pretty horrible. But, what are you going to do, right? She loves Trump and with Trump a lot. And a lot of comedians have been making fun of her and saying that she, which is a horrible thing to say. And I don't even want to broadcast that. But, she did a video where she basically said that that's how Kamala got her job and that she's not like Kamala. She did a whole video about this. But the fact that she was talking about all this stuff, I'm not going to talk about how she wears way too much makeup and she looks cartoonish, because I've seen pictures of her without all the makeup and all the whatever. And she, I guess she's a pretty girl, I guess, but it's almost like it's an act. Like we're in the Truman Show and these characters, it's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But do you know what a loom is? Anybody know what a loom is? Back in the day, you'd make clothes. You'd It's a thread. You use a loom for a thread. It makes fabric by weaving yarn. A loom is someone who weaves a thread. What kind of a thread are we talking about? We're talking about a meta thread, which looks like a worm. What is a worm? Remember I told you about the parasites? The parasitic worms that weave their way into your mind? Remember I was drinking a bunch of wormwood tea? I'm not today. I'm drinking a little chamomile. You need to calm down. By the way, get yourself a God's Champion or a Uranus as a planet mug. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Or you can get yourself an I Am a Witness 1111 shirt, which I think you should. I think you should. I love this. I love this. This is my favorite one of them all. Because we're supposed to be witnesses, right? You shall be my witnesses in the world. Everybody's like, oh, it's one person, it's two people, it's this person, it's that person, it's Elijah. The witnesses in Scripture are us. We're supposed to be witnesses. We're supposed to be saying, look, I saw this cover on Time magazine. God's trying to tell us something. I think it's going to become news. I think that it has something to do with something bad. I think that it's probably going to be connected to something that has to do with falsehood. But rumors, Bill Maher, Milo Yiannopoulos, I think is his name. He's another one, saying that Loomer was doing all sorts of things. They're spinning tales. They're spinning tales. But I'm glad that that tale was spun because it reminded me of a video that I did, of course, where I had a loom in the background. I didn't even bother to do like the dates in between. I'm sure if you add it up, it'll be, some kind of connection. But on June 5th, 2023, the end of an empire, ? And there you'll see, I believe that's Beetlejuice in the background, okay? And you'll see the Trumpster and a little baby Elon, right? You got to watch that show if you want to find out what it's about. I didn't watch it back, but I did know that video had a lot to do with Rumpelstiltskin. Now, why do I find this to be interesting? Do you remember the story of Rumpelstiltskin? He could, he kept the, what was it? The queen's child so that she would continue to spin, the threads and turn it into gold. What does that mean? Take something that's not gold and turn it into gold. It's like, take this fake news and turn it into something that we're going to profit from. Is this starting to hit home? Because the truth sets us free, as Tarakius says in the live chat. The truth will set us free from the lies that are being weaved. And I think a lot of them are being weaved. Do you know that they call Trump Rumpelstiltskin? Oh, yeah. Yep, a lot of them do. That's the whole video was about me comparing Trump to Rumpelstiltskin. Because he could take poop and he could turn it to gold. Everybody says he's like Rumpelstiltskin. He could take poop and turn it to gold. He could take a bad situation and turn it into something that's going to profit him. How does he know these things? How does this guy, the whole world's against him, gets kicked off of every platform, ends up owning now a huge social media platform. By the way, which I said would happen. I said, oh, he gets kicked off, he'll just buy one. And he did. He did. Did shows on that too. I don't know how many times I got to come on here and say things, and then it happens. And what does it matter? What does it matter? It encourages me. I hope it encourages you. The main thing of this channel is not just about, let me show you, what God's shown me. It's hopefully encouraging you to open your eyes and not just believe the mainstream media narrative or the fake stream media narrative. Regardless of if it's true or not, you gotta go to God and ask for the truth. Just like that shirt that I have, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. You gotta go and you can't just take things face value. I saw it online. It's got to be true. And then I'm going to promote it and tell everybody, you got to do the research. Today, you got to work very hard to find out if these things are true. And you shouldn't present something as truth if it's not. But now, why am I hung up on the whole Rumpelstiltskin thing? Okay, so on September 13th, before I even started with this stuff, for whatever reason, I put out this weird post. I said, remember this guy from the Justice League? A bit of a trickster? For future reference, I said. I I don't even know why I wrote for future reference. I just had a feeling that this would mean something in the future. I didn't know at the time that it would. It connected with me yesterday. Here's the thing, okay? I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he can be stopped by saying his own name or spelling it backwards. That returns him to the fifth dimension for like 90 minutes or 90 days. His only weakness is he can't stand people making fun of him. Who gets crazy about that? A lot of people. I don't like being made fun of either. And if he says or spells his name backwards, he's gone back to the fifth dimension. Now, here's funny. Do you know what movie is out right now? Here's the connection, right? I said save for future reference, and then here we are in the future, and it's Beetlejuice 2. Notice the sand worm in the background. You see the sandworm? What is sand? It's a symbol of not building your house on a foundation that's solid. Sand's like lies. It falls apart. It falls apart. Sandworm. Dune was a big thing. The sandworms, the worms. And what are the parasites that we're worried about? Worms. Worming their way into our thinking. Beetlejuice was a demon. Is a demon. Okay? And Beetlejuice 2 is out right now. And do you want to know how you get Beetlejuice out? What do? You got to say the name. You got to say it 3 times. It's interesting, the connection there. They end up calling the bio-exorcist Beetlejuice, played by Michael Keaton, for help, saying his name 3 times, and he appears. How do you get rid of? Now here's the funny thing. How do you get rid of Rumpelstiltskin? By tricking him into revealing his true name, his true nature. If you can trick a liar into proving that he's a liar, he has no more power over you. And how do you trick a liar? How do you trick a trickster? How do you do this? You kind of wait for them to fall into the sand trap themselves. Which, by the way, you heard it here first, folks. I think it's going to happen. Now that I said it, I feel even more confident. I'm going to say it again. I think that the true nature of individuals or an individual is going to be known. And what happens when that name is known? That power goes away and he's cast back to where he came from. Just like Rumpelstiltskin. Tricked him into revealing his name. It's incredible. It's incredible to me today that we have all of this madness happening. All of this stuff that's thrown at you. I'm proud of you for being okay. I'm proud of you for still being here. I'm proud of you for continuing to watch and share and be a part of this journey that we're all on together. We need each other. You know? As Lisa's saying in the chat, you learn a person's character. They have no more power over you. You learn the truth. How do you do it? Just wait and see, my friends, because that's what's coming. All of this stuff, the aliens and the this and the that, you're going to hear all the stuff of the nuclear war and the nuclear this and the nuclear that, and everybody's going to shove it down your face and shove it down your throat, and every time you come online, you're going to be petrified going to bed, and I'm saying rejoice, because when that happens, that's when your salvation is near. That's when your deliverance is near. Let this channel, for those of you that are here, let this be an encouragement to you. It is impossible to have all of these connections happen time and time and time and time again. Long before they are revealed in the world, they're revealed here to all of you. What are you worried about? What am I worried about? I do worry. What are we worried about? Isn't it time to boldly step into that throne of grace and just trust that God has us? Isn't it time to stop listening to the liars and promoting their lies? I think it is. And if you think it is, do me a favor. Share the video around. Tell people about the channel. Get involved. Follow me on X if you want. Jacob Israel 71. Got almost 35,000 there. I've been at the same number of subscribers here for like forever. Okay? Forever. But that's all right because I care about all of you watching. But I would love for you to share that light. You know what? When a candle has a candle, it doesn't hurt that candle at all to take that light and put it onto another candle. Will you do that for me? Will you share it around? Will you get involved? Click the link in the description. This Sunday, we're going to have another meetup on Zoom. It's going to be awesome on Patreon. If you want to become part of Patreon, you want to support the channel, that's the way to do it. You want to become like a toxic-free environmentalist at your house. You want to have great products that don't smell like, you just opened a can of bleach. Go to trulyhomefree.com. Trulyfreehome.com. That's right, trulyfreehome.com. You enter into code Jacob, trulyfreehome.com. I forgot to put the picture up. And don't forget that it's the 17th. That's super moon, harvest moon. 17. Go there if you want to grab some products that are awesome. It supports the channel. Use code Jacob. You get 30% off. Get a copy of The Calling. If you want to read an awesome novel, if you've never read a book before, read this novel. All right? It's the best. I like to sometimes put things together. This chapter title, All That Seems Wrong Isn't. I think that is something that we all need to remember. Just because it seems bad doesn't mean that it really is. Every one of the chapter titles, by the way, for those that read the book, if you string all the chapter titles together, I wrote a secret poem to you, the reader. There's so much more to this book. There's so much more to this novel. You start reading it, you're right here. A desert wasteland. And then you cross over, because you'll see the book. Danielle and I decided we came up with this. That's the book. By the end of the book, you're over here. You're over here. It's time for us all to enter into paradise, my friends. I love each and every one of you. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you do have the best day ever. And I hope that you don't get bogged down in all the noise. There's going to be a lot of it. And there's going to be big shakeups coming probably within the next couple of weeks or so, because November's right around the corner. Something big's going to happen before that, my friends. So just be ready for it. And remember, I told you first. All right. I love each and every one of you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Go click into the description. You click more. It'll open up. You can go check out all of the links. You want to get a notification from Telegram. I have a Telegram there. I just notify. So if you want to get notified and you're not being notified, that's a good way to do it. X is usually a great place to do it too. And that's about it. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Have the best day, people. I love you all so much.